program at Mississippi State around Sweet 16 appearance, the only in school history last year. The year before that made it to the round of 32 and continues to get better with his tenure at Mississippi State.
And we're underway in Starkville alongside Cody Blazak. I'm Anthony Craven. Excited to bring you today's matchup as Northwestern State on the road again as they'll start the season with 4 straight road matches. Ian Brophy is in his second year as the head coach. Got a chance, Cody and I did, to talk to him earlier in the week on Friday, and I guess late last week technically, and he actually was really impressed with the way his team fought and played, especially in half number 2 against SMU on Thursday.
Yeah, especially when you see SMU having the time to shoot over 30 times. The improvement in that second half was a plus for him. And, I mean, he does not schedule easy non-conference games. Last year it wasn't easy. This year it's just as difficult. You start with SMU, then you get Mississippi State, and then next Saturday you get Arkansas. So it's not easy going for the Demons early on.
No, and that's by design, as you mentioned, Cody. That's the way that he wants to get his team tested early to get them ready for conference play in the Southland Conference. A conference where they really last year, as the year went on, got better and better in, as there you see Gutierrez just bounces one towards Banuelos. And we see Libe in action for the first time this afternoon.
And you mentioned it, last year they got better as the season went on, and they ended up in the regular season finishing 4th in the Southland Conference. They made it to the semis, lost to Lamar and PK's. Lamar, who eventually ended up winning the Southland Conference tournament. But yeah, a lot to grow on. Northwestern State also picked to finish 4th again this year in the Southland Conference.
Buxton sends it in and trying to, not quite a total bicycle, but trying to get one in there, but hitting it high and over the goal for Mississippi State is number 29, Martinez Montoya. So State, no goal in the opening 2.5 minutes like Thursday, but a shot towards goal at least. And they are making their presence known as all the action has been on this end of the pitch here in the opening 3 minutes. Not a bad idea there, trying to find a cutting Hannah Johnson. That was Allie Perry with the pass that time, just let her a step too far.
Just put a little too much weight on it. Needs to take a little off of it so it doesn't fly off that end line. But like you said, they are controlling it through the first couple of minutes.
And again, Buxton on the near side corner sends it across and over everyone's head. Johnson was the closest one to it. That'll be a turnover, and the Demons will have possession. Number 10, midfielder Olivia Buxton, one of a couple of players for State that missed a lot of time a season ago on that really good Sweet 16 team that finished ranked in the top 14 in the nation in the final polls. And she is back in full strength, fully healthy for the first time in a while. And I know James Armstrong and his staff, Nick Zimmerman and company, are looking for players like Buxton and Perry to give an added boost to this team offensively early here in 2024.
Yeah, well, we talk about just the veteran leaders on this team, and I don't believe that Mississippi State has anyone younger than a junior starting in the lineup today. So it just shows you the experience that comes out in the starting 11, and then even off the bench you have a lot of players who are veterans as well. So it's just nice to have something to lean on when you have a bunch of players who have seen a bunch of college minutes.
The Bulldogs on the attack once again. Nice defensive takedown there. Clean tackle in the open field as the Demons diffuse that offensive attack from State. Now the Bulldogs do get it inside the 18, trying to find, is that Buxton, number 10? It is Olivia Buxton, just inside the 6-yard box on a nice entry pass, as she gets it over the head of Banuelos, and the Bulldogs not quite as early as Thursday, but still an early goal to go on top 1-0.
Yeah, and that's a great finish from Buxton as well. Didn't need to put a lot of power on it, just needed to get contact, was sliding in for it, just got enough of it to put it on frame and didn't put too much power on it. That's a great opening goal for Olivia Buxton.
And some really nice passing, not only on that offensive attack, but really the first 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, State's been aggressively and nicely passing to get opportunities like that, and Buxton's been involved early on in almost all of them so far.
Yeah, and it was a good team play too, because Buxton wasn't the only option. I believe it was Aitana Martinez Montoya that was the first miss. That ball skipped and went right by her and then made its way to Buxton. So good to have a couple of forwards crash the net and just not expect one person to get to it.
So in the opening 5 minutes, Mississippi State on top 1-0 over Northwestern State. And now we'll see how the Demons respond. This happened to them against SMU on Thursday, not this early in the match, but they fell down in the first half 2-0. And they did respond well, but by then it was too late. Really important for them on the road, top 20 opponents. If they fall behind by more than one goal early today, it could be a long afternoon for the Demons.
Yeah, and with as many shots as they faced on Thursday against SMU, you would expect to come in and be prepared, and let's try and limit the amounts of shots that this Bulldog club gets off. And so far, they've only got registered at least one shot and one shot on goal, which was just scored moments ago. So it's all about the preparation sometimes, just learning how to build on what happened in the last outing.
1-0. Olivia Buxton, her first goal of the season. And she's got to be thrilled after what happened to her last year with all the injuries, to be involved early and often and see some tangible results early here in the 24 campaign. Bulldogs right back at it. Nice defensive stomp there as State was trying to send one in. I think Hannah Johnson was the intended target of that pass, and a good job by the Demons. Number 24, Graff, able to slide and get it out of there. The Bulldogs, though, will maintain possession. And this will be our first corner of the match. And State just quickly sends it in. That was more of a corner pass than a corner kick. Hodge leaves it, and it's headed out of there. That was a nice entry pass and a quality shot on goal, but the Demons are ready for it defensively. It will result, though, in another Bulldog corner kick. Here's the replay of that shot attempt.
Puts it, looks like it would have gone in. Great save by, I think it was Caroline Hilliard, just to get a head on it and get it out of that attacking area. And sometimes the saves don't show up for Banuelos, but it's just as good as one.
And that was, guess who, Izquierdo, with a shot attempt right there for Mississippi State. So Izquierdo and Buxton have scored the goals this year for the Bulldogs. Izquierdo on Thursday in the first half against Baylor. Buxton in the first half here this afternoon against the Demons. We've seen the Bulldogs be aggressive, and it's resulted in multiple shots on goal, a couple of corners, and a ball that found the back of the net. Oh, Martinez Montoya just missed it, keeps it alive. Wadsworth trying to squeeze one through there, but Northwestern State with a couple of deflections. And the Bulldogs there, Cody, perhaps a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and really made something come from nothing. Martinez Montoya, just a little pass backwards. Sometimes you don't want to see that. Don't get too fancy with it. But really the only option she had, and gave Wadsworth an opportunity, hit it into a defender, but still kind of made something out of nothing. Take a look at it.
Oh, takedown right there. Wadsworth kind of slow to get up. Rolled over on that right ankle a little bit. Was that Hannah Johnson? That was Johnson. So Johnson slow to get up, stays in the match here with 36 minutes to go in the first half. Bulldogs continue to dominate possession. Wadsworth had that ball deflected out of bounds. State will have possession and a corner kick coming up. Third of the half already for MSU.
Yeah, and in these first 10 minutes, Mississippi State hasn't played very directly. They've played a lot of possession, played to the corners, and then once you're down in the corner, sending it into the box. And another opportunity there. They're going to try and do it off the corner as well, but a lot of smart play, not forcing it down the middle.
Perry, touch pass to Buxton. Off the corner. Back to Perry. Sends it in. Nice job there by Banuelos to come out aggressively and get the save.
And that's good for Banuelos early, just coming out, showing her authority, going in the box, a bunch of players for both teams in the box, and just meeting the ball first, and kind of shows her presence, especially after that first goal she allowed.
The Bulldogs already with 6 shots attempted, and at least 2 of them have been on goal. That through pass ahead of everybody, so a missed chance there. Turnover over to Northwestern State.
And I think it's a great idea from Allie Perry, too. You put it, it's kind of in an awkward spot where you don't know if it's going to make it to the goal, and you also give your team a chance to try and put a head on it. So that's an uncomfortable save for the goalkeeper.
And there were a couple of white jerseys there ready to put a head on it alongside the far side post. 11 minutes in, 1-0, Bulldogs on top. And once again in attack mode. Up the left side, inside, and then cleared by the Demons. Gutierrez to Buxton. Buxton finding space, then gets cut off. Izquierdo couldn't get a shot off. Now Perry tries it. That's deflected by the Demons.
And a great stop from Northwestern State, but the combination on the near side of passes to get that ball central, really great work. Doesn't get anything from it, but still great team play to get an opportunity in the middle of the box.
Maturin sent one in a little too far. Her teammates couldn't catch up to it, so an easy grab there for Banuelos, and the score remains 1-0. What have you liked so far, Cody? Or I guess, what have you liked most of all so far from the way the Bulldogs have come out and attacked the first 12 minutes?
I mean, an early goal is always a good sign. It takes a little bit of pressure off, especially in that first half. You play with the lead and you're trying to grow that lead. But I've been really impressed with the way this back line for Northwestern State has played. There have been a lot of shots. The ball has been in this final third quite a bit. But they've done a good job in taking away opportunities and also getting the ball out of play so something can't develop for Mississippi State.
The Demons, seemingly, to your point, Cody, have shored up that back line of defense. Now, what can they do to withstand the storm in the first half and then counter, with some offense of their own on the other end?
Yeah, and you saw the other night when Baylor had their opportunities, it was on the counter. Mississippi State controlled most of that game possession-wise, but every time Baylor went quickly and tried to play a little direct, it got a little, you weren't sure what was going to happen. Baylor was able to get it into the final third, maybe get a shot off, but definitely was able to apply some pressure to the back line for Mississippi State.
An early goal from Olivia Buxton. The difference so far as the Bulldogs are on top 1-0. Long past that time. Too long for just about everybody, but the Bulldogs are able to track it down and keep it alive. They maintain possession with Gutierrez. She'll send it in again. Go ahead, Cody.
There it is again, that back line just being in the right place. Had an opportunity for a cross, but they were able to get their head on it, get it out of play, and eventually make another stop.
Buxton unable to get it back in there and do anything with it. So an easy stop for Banuelos, who's going to try to calm things down and direct traffic and get everybody on the other end. We haven't seen much action at all down here to our left here in the first half, Cody.
No, and credit to the attack for Mississippi State. Have applied a lot of pressure, have connected quite a bit of passes as well, and that one flies out of play, but they're not trying to do it one-on-one all themselves. They're connecting passes on the outside and finding that open man in the middle of the field, and they're either able to lay a pass off down the center or take a shot, whatever it may be, but they've done a good job. But still, that Northwestern State back line has been very solid in the first 15.
We haven't seen very many errant passes from State here in the first half, but that was one a couple of minutes ago. We should note it's a very windy afternoon, so any kind of pass that gets any sort of air underneath it might go a little further than you're expecting. We'll see if that plays a major role at all as we get deeper into the match, as the Bulldogs once again get it inside the 18, but the Demons are able to clear it. When the Demons clear it, though, they're not able to clear and get possession. And so they are still very much on the back of their heels right now in the opening 15, 16 minutes.
You see the wind, and you and I are up in a press box, and it's a little toasty, but I'm sure it's hot out there. I'm sure they're appreciating that breeze.
We will take any kind of airflow we can get here in mid to late August. That ball was last touched by the Demons. So I believe the Bulldogs' fourth corner of the first half is about to happen.
I mean, Mississippi State is really applying the pressure. Maddie Anderson is at midfield. I mean, just really applying, yes, just applying pressure early on, and they have a lead because of it.
We saw the Bulldogs against Baylor go on top early, but then couldn't build upon that lead. Things, even though they were pretty much in control, State never felt really comfortable in that one until the closing minutes. So I'm sure that's been a point of interest today, is if we have an early one-goal lead, keep our foot on the gas and try to get that multiple goal lead early and not give the underdogs a chance to hang around and build confidence. Because then, I mean, soccer's a funny game, right? I mean, weird things happen. If you only have that one goal advantage, one turnover, one mishandled pass, and all of a sudden you can have this game equal real quick.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you possess the ball for 90% of the game. You've got to go on top and keep the lead. And obviously, if you have an early goal, you want to see a couple more, preferably in the first half. If not, maybe you get one or two in the second half. But credit for hanging on to that lead against a very talented Baylor squad. But it scores another quick one, and if you're Mississippi State and head coach James Armstrong, you want to see them build on what they did Thursday against Baylor, since they have a very similar situation today.
The Demons trying to get something onto their attacking side, but State is there to take it away pretty quickly. Right now, you've got on the pitch for Northwestern State, Hilliard, Sandu, Murphy, Senator, Spitzer, Graff, Ruggiano, Stern, Magno, and Pathel. And of course, Banuelos in net. Buxton tries it again, but this time she's off to the right side. And it stays 1-0.
And it was a great attempt by Buxton, who almost had her second. See the ball through that back line, put through the center, and there's the issue. That one of the first couple miscues that Northwestern State has had today is letting that ball bounce through 5 defenders and giving Olivia Buxton an opportunity on the opposite end. Went their way, and Buxton shot it off target, but when you have 5 players on that back line, you can't allow that ball to get through you.
A mistake that time by the Demons, but it did not cost them. Throw in. Northwestern State will let Caroline Hilliard handle that throw in. We are 20 minutes in. Nice pass right there. Bulldogs trying to use their speed in the midfield to their advantage. Going to be a clean takedown right there. No call from the referees. Hodge. Left side she goes. Maturin from just outside the 18 sends it in, headed out of there by the Demons. And then cleared by Northwestern State.
Yeah, and we've seen Maturin have a couple of good services into the box the past couple of minutes. Sometimes you don't put enough on it. Sometimes you just put it over everyone's head, but she's keeping it right at head level so you don't have to make any crazy play. She's done a very good job at that and putting it right in between that PK spot and the 6, just right where you want it. If she continues to do that, Mississippi State has to find a way to get ahead on it.
Izquierdo finds a little bit of space over to Buxton. Gutierrez. Oh, nice idea, but just couldn't get it onto the right foot of Izquierdo. Got it onto her left, and there wasn't a whole lot she could do once that happened.
Yeah, that ball was in an awkward area. Wasn't able to get her leg up quick enough, a little too high. Hard to settle that ball, but good effort.
Bulldogs maintain possession. Johnson gets cut off. Maturin. Nice touch pass from Izquierdo. Turning shot, but there is Banuelos. And she's getting a workout today, Cody. Not quite the same workout she got yet from SMU on Thursday, but still, as expected, early and often, Banuelos getting tested.
Yeah, and that shot felt a little rushed. Had some space, had some players in the center and decided to shoot. Had some space, so you kind of get it, but definitely had time for at least a dribble or two to get a little closer, and still an awkward angle. But just Mississippi State is getting so many jerseys into the box right now. It feels like they need to put a couple of passing combinations together, either on the outside or the inside, and see if they can get someone through that back line in a one-on-one with the keeper.
That was Hannah Johnson on that shot attempt just a moment ago. Izquierdo back out for a reset. Combs to Gutierrez. She sends it in. Had one white jersey down there. I think Izquierdo was the intended target. Or maybe Martinez Montoya. Either way, ball goes over the touchline. Possession will stay with Mississippi State. The Bulldogs will use, actually both sides will use their first subs of the first half. And with hot temperatures in the middle of the afternoon, I would imagine both sides will sub liberally, even in the first half today.
Yeah, it is. It's a hot one out. Need to stay hydrated. We saw a couple of cramps from both Mississippi State and Baylor Thursday, and that was an evening/night game. And So you've really got to be cautious with these players out here today just because of the heat, and you get some shade at the benches, but players that are playing 20 to 45 minutes at a time in this first half need to keep them hydrated, and if they didn't have enough to drink before the game or whatever it may be, just have to be cautious because it's brutally hot.
It looks like Wagner and Thompson are in the match for Mississippi State. Northwestern State has brought in Stook, Mars, Baumgartner, and now a shot attempt is way too high. That was off the boot of Perry, and that will take us to our water break of the first half. 20 minutes and 56 seconds to go. Bulldogs on top, 1-0 in Starkville.
And we're back in third quarter planning. Adams is quarterbacking this project, and she is looking pretty tired, Jill.
She's stuck, Bill, and that dead.
It's a veteran squad that 18th ranked Mississippi State puts on the pitch this season, Cody, and not just veteran, but also talented. 5 players on the all-conference preseason watch list.
Yeah, and at the top of that list is the leader in goal, and Maddie Anderson, and well, her four previous years shows you why, but the other names in Riley Combs, Macy Hodge, Hannah Johnson, and Aitana Martinez Montoya, all essential to this team, all play their part. I mean, you get some forwards, you get a defender, a couple of midfielders. I mean, it takes all of it to put a good team together, and there's a reason that 5 of their 11 starters, almost half, are on that SEC preseason watch list.
And when you have success, like this team has had the past 2 seasons, that's one of the awards or rewards that you get from that. Your individual players and your program as a whole begin to receive a little extra respect from around the SEC and nationally.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Macy Hodge either, who is a 4th-year captain this year for one, which is absolutely incredible. But not only is she on that SEC preseason watch list, she's also on the 2024 United Soccer Coaches midfielders watch list. And for Mississippi State has been a key part in that midfield for the past years, but is finally getting some recognition that to some people feel like should have been given quite a while ago.
Yeah, there she was right there, number 4. She was on the middle, or in the middle, of that graphic on our screen a moment ago, and she plays in the middle of every single match for Mississippi State, and usually is right in the middle of all the action that's happening for the Bulldogs, offensively or defensively. And to get her back, which James Armstrong said was totally unexpected, to get her back, a huge boost for this team in 2024.
She's also someone that isn't going to do anything flashy in the box score, isn't going to have a bunch of goals or assists, but a lot of times is breaking up a lot of passes in the midfield or that final third that she needs to be to prevent an opposing attack, or she's having that pass or the pass before the pass to the assist and is really making the whole play come together.
The Bulldogs have dominated the match so far in the opening 25 minutes, out-shooting the Demons 10-0. 3 shots on goal for MSU, none on goal, obviously, for NSU. And the difference so far, that Olivia Buxton goal early in the first half. Give Johnson and Perry both credit on the assist on that Buxton goal, her first of the year. And so far, State's been able to make it stand as they are on top 1-0, looking to add more. The Demons trying to catch the Bulldogs out of position or making a mistake in the open field and trying to get the equalizer. Thompson, near side corner, has the ball deflected and taken away. Number 3, Riley Thompson, getting some playing time here in the first half.
And great play from Macy Hodge. Kind of didn't fully accelerate and was waiting for that pass to be made. take a look, was slowing down, sped up to make the slide here and get it out of play. And that's just what she does. Reads the play very, very well and was able to stop it before anything developed.
And in turn, prevents the Demons from doing anything. And now her team gets their defense set up for the throw-in, and they take it away immediately. Now Thompson looking for the pass, finally gets it there. Nifty move inside the 18 before being taken down for Mississippi State. That was number 27, Zoe Main, who entered the match just a couple of minutes ago. Clean but hard takedown there to prevent a shot attempt.
Yeah, a couple of good moves. A little too big of a touch here, though. Keeps that touch a little closer. She might be able to get a cleaner look off, but still forces a corner for the Bulldogs.
Zoe Main had a lot of playing time last year for Mississippi State with some players like, well, speaking of some players coming back, there was Zoe Main with a great shot attempt. And somehow Banuelos able to get just enough of a deflection that she makes the save.
Yeah, what a save. And it looks like it was going to get past her between her legs, and she's able to fall on it and able to make the save. What a save.
Well, and she made a couple of saves like that against SMU on Thursday. And that's the first impressive stop from Banuelos. Boy, Maine had it point blank, did the right thing, got it right between the wickets. And Banuelos able to sit down on it and get the stop.
Just quick reflexes, and it paid off. I mean, she had 11 saves in that season opener, which isn't an easy thing to do. I mean, a lot of shots, yes, but making 11 saves takes a lot out of you, and already has 3 saves on 4 shots on goal. And I mean, she's been worked to the max. It feels like the past game and 30 minutes in this one.
Zoe Main, her first shot attempt of the match. We were talking just a couple of minutes ago about the fact that with players like Perry and Buxton back this year from injury, how would that affect the amount of minutes in match play for Maine? And perhaps they've been a little bit diminished in the first match and a half, but still, she played valuable minutes against Baylor. And here she is again, getting some time to play a lot of minutes in the opening half against Northwestern State, as Perry goes down hard, but is quick to get up, trying to walk it off. Play is stopped momentarily. Maturin up the left side, uses that speed. Perry has what little space she had taken away. Bulldogs, though, maintain possession. Less than 15 minutes to go, first half. Long pass from Combs. The Demons take it away. Then the Bulldogs get it right back. Take down right along the boundary.
And there she is again, though. Macy Hodge with the header to get it to that far sideline, which eventually forces a corner. And whether they score on it or not, it's another opportunity for the Bulldogs, and it won't show up on the stat sheet, but it's still just the little things that she is able to do that gives the Mississippi State Bulldogs opportunity after opportunity.
Off the Bulldog corner kick, the Demons are there to clear it quickly. They defended that sequence well. So set piece chances now for the Bulldogs. They've had 6 of them. The Demons 0. Demons now extending some defensive pressure a little bit against the Bulldogs, not allowing State to quickly get it into the final third. Nice defensive stop there on the interception. The Demons trying to get something going there as Pethel, number 32, Emma Pethel, a defender, got possession, but her teammates unable to keep it going and maintain it. As there you see Chelsea Wagner in maroon and white, again, slow to get up after taking a spill, and looks like she might come off for a few minutes.
Number 19, Kenny Husbands replacing number 11, Hannah Johnson.
The junior out of Leawood, Kansas.
Kevin Braswell replacing number 5, Ellie Perry. Also checking in for the Demons.
Looks like she actually will stay in for a little bit, so she'll stay in. Meanwhile, about 4 other subs came on for the Bulldogs and a couple for the Demons as well. We'll get all that sorted out for you here momentarily. Looks like Quino and Porter are in for the Demons. Braswell and Husbands are in for the Bulldogs. That ball got right past the defender, but no white kits there to do anything with it.
And when we got to talk to Coach Brophy earlier this week, told us that there isn't a whole lot of drop-off between the starters and then the subs that come in. And I'm curious to see that back line has held their shape very, very well in this first half, especially after surrendering an early first goal. But they've been able to play smart on that back line, and they've kept the shape very, very well. And sometimes with an early goal, you see it just get distorted and players aren't where they're supposed to be. I'm curious to see if they can continue to keep that up.
McCaslin sends one across, headed, but too high. Off the head of Wagner.
Takes it to the end line, puts it in. It's a great cross. Just too much for Wagner. Wasn't able to get that downward force that you usually want on a header. Still one of the better opportunities, in my opinion, that I think Mississippi State has had today.
Yeah, Banuelos, a rare opportunity there where she actually was caught out of position just a bit. The Bulldogs, though, could not capitalize. So 1-0, our score remains. And Cody, to your point, just a couple of minutes ago, the Demons, they're a veteran team. They're a deep team. But they also were very honest with us. The coaching staff was, when you and I met with them on Friday, they know that they're not going to out-talent or out-athlete Mississippi State today, but they were firm believers in that they thought they could, from a work ethic and hustle standpoint, stay with the Bulldogs and make this thing a really tight match going into half number 2. And with less than 10 to go, so far so good for the Demons from that standpoint.
Yeah, and they've been very disciplined. That back line doesn't want to cheat up. They're playing very smart with the Mississippi State forwards.
That shot attempt is going to be right off the left post. Oh my goodness. A deep shot attempt, but off the foot, I thought didn't have much of a chance, and instead ends up going all the way. And I couldn't tell if that hit the glove of Banuelos at all or how it was deflected, but McCaslin put a charge into that one.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
That came out of nowhere.
That came out of nowhere. Great shot. Just an unlucky bounce and off the post, and it goes out of bounds, gives Northwestern State the ball. But the past couple of minutes, it feels like these fresh legs off the bench have given a little bit of a boost to this Mississippi State offense.
And some of these names like Maine and McCaslin, those are really familiar names. It's not just true freshmen or first-year transfers coming off the bench for James Armstrong and his staff. I mean, it's proven veteran players who have logged a lot of minutes playing in the SEC.
Yeah, we talked about earlier the not only juniors and seniors and fifth years starting in this Mississippi State lineup. Those two names you just named, and Wagner and McCaslin, are both a junior and a senior. So I mean, you just get even more experience off the bench. Just not a whole lot of drop off.
We also see Sutton Webb in the match now. She came on at the 36-minute mark to replace Chelsea Wagner for the rest of this first half. We haven't seen very many fouls called. It's been a very clean first half of soccer for both sides. You can see 5 fouls total. 3 for the Demons, 2 for the Bulldogs. That last one called against Northwestern State. So a free kick here for Izquierdo, who sends it right in the 6-yard box, but also right to Banuelos. So a save again for the Demons keeper, and it stays a 1-0 score.
Yeah, I just didn't put enough on it. Not much for Banuelos to, not a whole lot of effort to put into it. Just had to get in position and make the save, but she's been put to work early on, and she's done a good job for the Demons.
Less than 7 to play first half. 14 shots for Mississippi State, none for Northwestern State. Izquierdo still playing with that heavily wrapped right wrist. Gave it away in the open field. Number 9 in maroon and white, McCaslin's been all over the pitch since coming on as a sub a few minutes ago. And they were going to see another foul called against the Demons. This will be a Bulldog free kick with 6 minutes left here in the opening half.
It starts to get a little later in the half. They've been in this heat for almost 40 minutes now. I mean, play is going down just a bit. You're getting a little sloppy with it, but still another opportunity for Mississippi State. See if that back line for the Demons can come through.
Izquierdo sends it in hard right at that 6-yard box, deflected by a couple of players on both teams. And now out to Maine. She hits one on the grass, and it's deflected, but not quite cleared. The Bulldogs maintain possession now at midfield. Gutierrez sends it back for a reset. All the way back to Anderson, who, as Cody mentioned earlier, has played most of the first half way up, almost at midfield. A little nifty move there, creating space by Husbands. She sends it across, and it's knocked out of there by one of the defenders. And finally, Banuelos, a little friendly fire right there, but everyone gets up okay. And she makes the save. You mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Cody, the Demons, despite the onslaught of Bulldog shot attempts, their defensive shape has not broken down. There have been very few, if any, chances where the Bulldogs have had a wide open shot attempt off a turnover.
Yeah, they've got 4 in the back, and sometimes you see, depending on what side of the ball the field is on, one of those midfielders swing in and act almost as a 5th defender on either sideline, and that kind of helps with the shape too, especially with the amount of pressure that the Bulldogs are putting on the Demons. And just tactically, I think very smart of this coaching staff to recognize just what this offense can do and how they've really defended against it.
Less than 4 minutes to go in the first half. The Demons looking for their first shot attempt of the match, and it won't come right here as the Bulldogs are able to get possession back. Hodge, correction, that's McCaslin, comes in there and aggressively takes it away. Ran out of space though, and the ball will be cleared. Gutierrez has played the entire first half. Sends it across the field. Bulldogs trying to send one in. They do, but it's too deep and goes out of bounds.
Yeah, if you look at this game and you look at the Northwestern State SMU game, Mississippi State is just about on pace with SMU, who had 31 total shots in the game. Mississippi State is sitting at 15.
Yeah.
So Northwestern State facing about the same sort of offense in the sense of numbers. They also allowed 2 in that first half against SMU. Still 2.5 to play in this first half, but if you can make it to halftime down 1, that's a huge improvement, and I mean, has been really solid from the Demons in this first half.
We've got 2.5 to play in the first half, like Cody just said. The Demons trying to at least keep things where they are, if not finding a way to make things equal. They have survived, for the most part, this opening first half onslaught from Mississippi State. The Bulldogs, though, not done yet. McCaslin gets it inside, looking for space, looking for a shot attempt. It's off the bar.
We talked a little bit about her with Baylor. Kennedy Husbands can do a lot on the field. Only a freshman, had her first really solid look of her career and just put a little too much on it, put it off that top bar. But you take a look at it when she gets the ball here, a couple of moves, a really smart play, gets it to her left foot, just a little too much on it, but a great look from the freshman.
Yeah, nice move. Good instincts right there to not take the initial shot with the right foot, like you said, but change to the left. Got a good look. And Zoe Main had another shot attempt right after that. I'm not saying possession, but neither one could find the back of the net. So here we go with a minute left in the first half. The Bulldogs still on top 1-0. Olivia Buxton got the only goal so far of the match in the opening 6 minutes. "17 shots for Mississippi State, 0 for Northwestern State. Of those 17 shots, 6 have been on target. We have seen 4 or 5 saves for the really good Demons keeper, Libe Banusuelos. And I don't think we're going to see any more action here the first 45 minutes. That clock's going to tick down, and we're going to head to the locker room. So as expected, Mississippi State defensively dominating Northwestern State, controlling possession time. And again, like the opener on Thursday, early goal gives Mississippi State a 1-0 advantage here at the halftime break.
Take an early lead from Buxton, just really impressive what she was able to do, and Mississippi State able to hold on, but that defense for Northwestern State solid.
The 18th ranked Bulldogs on top 1-0 halftime. Highlights coming up after this. Back in Starkville, we're getting ready for half number 2. Mississippi State, the 18th ranked team in the country, coming into the season. Head coach James Armstrong and his staff, Nick Zimmerman and company. Drago, the newcomer. What a great name. And there you see what they're trying to do, the staff and the team this year, Cody, trying to build off of last season's success. Last year, they went to the Sweet 16 for the first time in program history. Back-to-back seasons now of hosting first-round tournament games. 18th ranked in the preseason, highest in program history. Last year, they tied for the most single-season SEC wins in program history. And the last 2 years, the first time since late 90s, they've gone back-to-back, winning 10 matches or more in a single season. All signs pointing up right now for the Bulldogs soccer program.
Yeah, and I think obviously, you look at the past 2 seasons for the Bulldogs because they're the big ones. You make the tournament in both years, round of 32 the year before, and then last year you make the Sweet 16. But ever since James Armstrong arrived at Mississippi State, season to season, they have improved. So you want to build from the last 2, but they've always been improving throughout his tenure here. And you make the Sweet 16, it's hard to improve after that, but it's possible, and a lot to look forward for this program for the Bulldogs.
Coach Armstrong in his 5th year in Starkville. 43 wins, 32 losses, 18. And like Cody said, every year has been building off of the year prior. Before coming to Starkville, spent a long time as the top assistant in Auburn. So now the question is, as the 2 teams flip sides, can the Bulldogs build upon the lead, which they couldn't do in a win over Baylor on Thursday, and can the Demons get something going on offense? It's not going to be just good enough to play really good defense to have a chance to earn a positive result for them here this afternoon.
Yeah, they've got to find some way to incorporate that offense, whether it's a fast break or applying a lot of pressure. That they've got to find something, because the Bulldogs have controlled the majority of this game, the majority of that first half, which is why they have 17 shots, the 1 goal. But a win is good regardless of how it is, but when you have this many opportunities, you have to build on it. If you're Mississippi State, you have to find ways to put the ball on the back of the net.
And that's going to be, I'm sure, or was, I'm sure, one of the messages from James Armstrong to his team at halftime. Northwestern State, a rare chance to have it down here on their attacking end. Both teams have basically the same starters to begin the match. Out here to begin half number 2, Izquierdo cannot, Martinez Montoya cannot catch up to that one. A nice pass, though, from Hodge as the Bulldogs threatened in the opening 2 minutes.
Yeah, Macy Hodge, again, really smart play, was able to bring the ball back, get it to her dominant foot, and find the passing lane. Put a little too much on it, but a good look.
The Bulldogs got shots from Perry, Buxton, Johnson, Combs. Now, speaking of Johnson, she got one on the ground right there and got a attempt off, but Banuelos with a diving stop.
Good shot from Johnson as well. Had a bunch of spin on it.
Oh, man. The Bulldogs ultra aggressive there. Sorry, Cody, back to your point on Johnson's shot attempt.
Good effort, a lot of spin on it, and you see trouble to handle. Takes her time just outside the 18, and tough ball to handle. Just kind of dies midair and drops. But Banuelos has done really well in the first couple of minutes of this half. In that first half, she's got 6 saves. I mean, she led the Southland Conference, or excuse me, had the second most saves in the Southland Conference last year with 90 of them. So just building on what she did last year.
Tell you what, it's hard for me to believe that there is going to be a better keeper in that league this year than Libe Banuelos. Like you said, second team performer last year. Certainly her coaches believe she's the best in the Southland in 2024.
No, that's why you scheduled these types of games in your non-conference. Very competitive. It's not always guaranteed to win. Really going to test you, might aggravate you from time to time. But, I mean, they've held their own with one of the top teams in the SEC.
Her counterpart, Maddie Anderson, has not quite had a day off. She's been heavily involved in putting the ball in play for her team, but has not had a shot to defend yet this afternoon. Can the Bulldogs get something going here? No, they cannot. Not a bad idea that time as Perry tried to flick one on and get her own rebound, but ran out of real estate. Got a Bulldog player slow to get up. As here you see that replay.
Little contact afterwards, but that's part of it. Good cross from Maggie Wadsworth, who was the player that went down for a moment. Initially on that first attempt, it got blocked, was able to send it back over. Also had Alana Izquierdo coming in. If would have played a ball on the ground through the two defenders, would have given her a pretty open shot as well. But a lot of white jerseys in the box moments ago.
That goes down as yet another shot attempt for Mississippi State. And a shot on goal. And that'll also be the 6th now, at least 6 saves. I know we have a really good official score here in the press box, but I would give a 7th save to Banuelos if I was keeping score, but 6 officially in the save column for her. Had to defend 31 shots, or at least be ready to defend 31 shots against SMU on Thursday, and has had to be in position now for 19 shots headed her way this afternoon. As that ball just a little too far for the Demons to do anything with it and get possession in the attacking third. Now we got a whistle, and play will be stopped momentarily as the Bulldogs will take Wadsworth, who's been slow ever since that pass she made a moment ago, been gingerly walking around. She'll come off, and Zoe Main will come back in. Of course, Wadsworth can come back in herself later this half if the Bulldog coaching staff wants to do it that way. But Main comes on, Wadsworth goes off, and there we see the depth of MSU being shown here in the early moments of half number 2. Got a push from behind there. Play goes on. Martinez Montoya gets up, trying to find Perry. Had the ball deflected. Now Hodge. Across she goes, looking for Main, and led her a step or two too far. And possession goes over to Northwestern State.
Yeah, it's a good ball from Hodge to that corner as well. Zoe Main was sitting on that back line, raised her hand, and just waited until Hodge kicked the ball. Have to start that run a little earlier so you can meet the ball in that corner.
Perry sends it across. Purple jerseys, though, are there defensively, as they have been most of the match. Maturin will reset it with Gutierrez. Maturin played in the World Cup a year ago for the Haitian national team. That's a nice through ball. Johnson, can she catch up to it? Yes, she can, but cannot hit the cutting Zoe Main. Main will try to send it in again, this time deflected over the touchline, and this will be the 7th corner kick from Mississippi State.
And a great effort from Johnson to get to it, puts it in the middle. You've got to have that. You've got to finish it. Main on the backside overread it a little too much and still gets a corner out of it. But those are ones you have to finish. The ones that are being cut across the 18 just have to be met in time and put in the back of the net.
Allie Perry will tee it up, and she'll handle the corner kick for the Bulldogs. That one goes high and long, and Had the whistle being blown anyway, so Hannah Johnson, the guilty party that time. So possession goes over to the Demons. Our score remains 1-0. 35 and change to go in this one here in Starkville. The Demons just lose that one. It's been tough sledding against this really good defense of Mississippi State. And that's one thing that might get lost a little bit in the stat sheet so far. You look at shots and shots on goal and how heavily in favor that is for the Bulldogs, as State will again have the corner kick. But another reason why Northwestern State has not been able to get a shot off is because when they do have possession, State's defense just comes and takes it away.
Yeah, when they have possession, it's not for long. That defense is on their toes. They're ready, making plays, and credit to them, because I'm not going to say it's been easy for them, but a load has been taken off them today because they've been able to take the ball away so quickly and feed it back to that offense.
The corner kick is headed out. Had a big collision right there. Hodge will try to send it back across. The Bulldogs have a player down. Northwestern State will finally be able to clear it. Looks like Riley Combs, who is usually the player State's trying to get the ball to in those types of set piece opportunities.
Just a collision with the goalkeeper, Banuelos. Banuelos was able to punch it out of there and just made contact with Riley Combs. Just tough play, but it's a soccer play.
Yeah, Combs talking to the referee. I think trying to receive some clarification on what the call was. Doesn't appear to be too happy with the decision. The good news is she'll stay in the match and appears to be okay. Throw in for the Bulldogs. Knocked away by the Demons. And the ball is lost out of bounds. Combs is such a tall target and is so good in the air. You understand why the opposing defense focuses on her in those situations, and a byproduct of that is she gets the brunt of a lot of those head-to-head, shoulder-to-head type of collisions down there inside the 6-yard box.
Yeah, and coming from a goalkeeper trying to protect her net, coming out to punch it, you have a lot of force when you go up and jump for that punch out of the box, and sometimes there's someone on the opposite end of it, and it's tough.
Delayed foul call there as Johnson went down hard in the open field. Could be a yellow card, and it will be. Let's see who they assign this card to. They will assign the card for the Demons to Alina Graff, a really good defender for Northwestern State. Now, what do you think, Cody?
Through 2 games, a second card picked up for Northwestern State. The other one going to Sandu, but take a look at it, and it's correct call. I mean, There's no way around it. You're making a play after the ball is gone, and whether it was your intention or not, sometimes momentum carries you forward, and you have to try and stop yourself, but I think the right call.
A free kick now for Mississippi State. First card of the match. And it goes against Alina Graff. So now a free kick for the Bulldogs. Time is stopped. 32:48 to go. The Demons are expressing their frustration with our head referee.
Set pieces are an important part of this game as well. Obviously only the second game of the season, but still you have to work on these set pieces, try and find a goal, design plays, you go through them in practice. You have to find a way to create an opportunity out of a set piece.
And the Bulldogs have had more than their fair share of set piece chances today.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of free kicks. You've got 8 corners in this game. You've got to find a way to put one in the back of the net when you have that many opportunities.
Just over 32 minutes to go. 1-0, our score remains. Today's match has felt a lot like second verse, same as the first. If you've been watching Bulldogs soccer here in the early season, an early goal led to a 1-0 victory over Baylor on Thursday, and so far, an early first half goal. The difference as we get later and later into half number 2 against Northwestern State. That ball from Maine leads her a bit too far. Slight contact, but nothing to call right there inside the 18 as that ball goes over the line, and the Demons will have possession.
Yeah, and I think that's a good play. I believe that was Graf who just picked up the yellow, but just using her body to block that ball, not allow Mississippi State to get it as it's going out, or force it off of someone from the Demons and create a corner. Just a smart play, slows the game down a bit, gives Northwestern State an opportunity to catch their breath, and they get the ball back.
You just saw there on your screen Ravina Sundu coming out of the match momentarily for the Demons. Tiana Cruz will come in for Northwestern State.
Allie Perry looks to be limping as well. Just went down a moment ago, trying to get back into it.
And that's the last thing you want to see if you're James Armstrong. Perry missed so much time due to injury earlier in her career. Tug of the jersey right there. And a foul will be called against Northwestern State. Guilty party that time was Magno.
Yeah, you take a look at it, just grabs her shirt, pulls Izquierdo back a bit. Yeah, one of the easiest calls these refs will make today.
Yeah, pretty obvious. And done right in front of the official. Perry inside the 18, crosses it. Shot from Johnson is too high. Boy, Johnson gave it a ride just over the bar. And the score remains 1-0.
Great setup from Allie Perry. Montoya lost it, let Johnson have it, just puts it right over the net, and can't get much closer than that.
That is the 4th shot attempt from Johnson today, 22nd as a team for the Bulldogs, who maintain possession as they have most of the match. Buxton out to Maine. Maine loses it. Northwestern State trying to flick it on right there was Porter. A little too long though, and no purple jerseys were there to help her out. Number 12, Bailey Porter, had the right idea. Now they got a takedown in the open field, and what we're starting to see right now, Cody, perhaps a little bit of tired legs from Northwestern State. They're starting to be just a little bit out of position defensively, and also a little frustration, I think, on their side.
Well, I think the shape still looks great for that back line. Maybe not getting to the balls as quick as they'd like, but yeah, they're just the play is going down, not as quick as they were to start this game. I mean, they've played in this brutal heat for close to an hour now. It's not getting any easier.
Corner kick coming up for Mississippi State. This will be, by my count, their 9th of the match. They had 6 of them in the first half alone. And we'll see how they want to play it here. Still looking for that elusive multi-goal advantage. We'll send it in, a one-hopper that the Demons clear easily. And I'm sure, Cody, if Coach Armstrong and his staff want to be nitpicky, and coaches usually are, boy, Johnson gets tripped up there. Play continues. If they want to be nitpicky, even if State holds on and wins, I'm sure they're going to talk about set-piece execution when they watch the film of this one afterwards.
I think it'll be a combination of that and maybe finishing. I think we've had 3 off the post today. So, I mean, it doesn't register as a shot on goal. It registers as a shot, but you've got to adjust and find a way to put it in the goal and not on the post.
That ball sent way in, and we'll see if a State player can catch up to it. They are able to get it. Johnson sends it across. Johnson again trying to control it. Lobs it in there, too far for Martinez Montoya. There were a couple of shots off the bar against Baylor, too. Off the post as well.
You're starting to see that back line shape get out of sorts now. The back line getting sucked into the passing of Mississippi State. So I think fatigue and the heat really becoming a factor now.
Foul called against Northwestern. Correction, foul called against Mississippi State. And are we getting a card here or not? I don't think so. Well, yeah, we are. Yellow card against Alexis Gutierrez. Our center referee, Jesus Hernandez Balbas, has been a bit of a busy man here in half number 2.
Yeah, didn't have a whole lot in that first half, but continues to call a handful of fouls in this half. Gutierrez had 4 yellows last year. Not a bad thing to get a yellow. Might be a little too aggressive or whatever it may be, and sometimes you need to be aggressive. It forces you, however, to play a little softer and be a little smarter in the choices that you make, though, for the rest of the match.
And this also might be part of referees trying to gain control of a match that's starting to get a little bit chippy at times, a little more physical than it was in the first half. Northwestern State hanging in there. The Bulldogs, though, still with a 1-goal lead. As we near the 25 minutes left to go mark here in half number 2. Maturin in danger. Porter able to take it away. Porter trying to get a shot off with the left foot, but did not get it cleanly. And it goes right of the net. And it stays a 1-0 score.
And a great effort from Porter. I just didn't want to go with her left foot. Really didn't have an option. Great move here. Looked uncomfortable with that left foot, but made the right choice. If you wanted to get a look, that was the way you were going to have to go. Just couldn't get enough contact to the ball.
And that's the first shot of the match for Northwestern State. And that was easily their best opportunity to score so far today.
And I get it. Trying to use your non-dominant foot, it's uncomfortable. It's not easy.
The Demons have a chance right here. Kick save and a beauty, but the flag went up. It wouldn't have counted anyway. Offsides, as the Demons are all of a sudden, Cody, putting some pressure on the Bulldogs. That time on the run out for the Demons was Baumgartner.
And figured it had to come at some point, especially in such a close game. Great idea, just got too big of a jump. But I don't know if you saw who it was applying the pressure. It wasn't a defender, it was Macy Hodge. Once again, just being all over the field.
So that shot attempt does not count. And the Bulldogs are back on offense. The header a little too high in the air there for Harry. Looks like Johnson, number 11, is going to spot Porter now, who all of a sudden has become very active for the Demons. Meanwhile, a couple of substitutions. Perry will come out for Mississippi State.
And I think it's probably smart to give her a breather or a break, or whether she comes back in or not. Had that instant earlier where she went down, was down for 10 seconds or so, came up and limped really bad. It looked like she got a little better, just a little banged up in the play. But with her history and everything, obviously you want her for a full season. You need to find a way to keep her healthy. And if it's taking her off in the second half, so be it.
Inez Simas is the player to replace her in the match with 22 and a half to go. The Bulldogs have used 10 subs in the match, and 9 subs have been used by the Demons. So we talked in the first half, Cody, how deep these two sides were. They've showcased it today.
Yeah, not a whole lot of drop-off. I mean, either way, and feels like the whistles and the bounces are starting to go Northwestern State's way. And personally, I think we've seen a lot of improvement for Northwestern State from Thursday at SMU to here now. And I mean, still have allowed 23 shots, but have only given up 1 goal. This is still very much a game with just under 22 to go.
A free kick for the Demons. They get it inside the 18, but then it's deflected off a couple of players and over the line. The Demons, though, should maintain possession. And this will be their first corner of the match.
And this is why getting an extra goal, an insurance goal, a second or third goal is so important, because it just takes an odd bounce to end up in the back of the net for the Demons, and you have a tie game.
Corner kick from Senator, and the ball gets deflected by Mississippi State, and they will lead on the counter across midfield. Hard takedown there. Gutierrez. Really, that was a no-brainer right there. The Demons had to do something, because Gutierrez was just streaking towards the final third, and that would be a yellow card pulled out against Caitlin LaRoe.
Yeah, and obviously, if you can get the foul without picking a yellow up, that's ideal. But I mean, you had a 2-on-2 coming your way. I think the smart play, even though you pick a card up, because I mean, it's a game at 1-0, and it's still a game at 2-0, just a little bit harder. So at least you still give your team a fighting chance as we approach the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, I think LaRue did the only thing she could have done in that situation. What a nice job on the counter off a Northwestern State set piece. It's Mississippi State that actually gets the better chance out of it.
Yeah, and I think a good play from Northwestern State to have 2 defenders back instead of pushing everyone in the box and desperately trying to score. They were able to stop the transition, though.
Johnson ran out of real estate there. Tried to cross one, but
I'm going to say it went out of bounds and just give him a goal kick.
And that's what the call will be. I think we're going to head to a timeout here. Yep, timeout's been called. Mississippi State continuing to hold on to a 1-0 lead over Northwestern State.
Fans of teams will take a quick water break.
We've mentioned already on the broadcast the returning production of Mississippi State. Not to be outdone, the Demons returning 10 of 11 starters from last year, 21 players overall who played on last year's team. Compare that to the 2023 team that only returned 2 starters. So what a huge job and a good job that Coach Brophy's done in a short time period, reestablishing the foundation and the culture there in Natchitoches.
Yeah, and it's not easy to start a head coaching job where you only have he expects to be an NCAA tournament team with all of the non-conference preparation that he takes, and then has high expectations in conference play. So a lot of expectations, and it's been difficult for him considering 2023, and now with everyone he got in 23, a lot of them coming back.
And you touched on it, Cody, in the first half, that this team was just what? I mean, a PK away from playing for the Southland Conference Tournament Championship a season ago. They come in with a lot of confidence, and rightfully so. You got the Spitzer sisters. You've got Senator, Hilliard. You've got a great situation at goalkeeper. I know they were projected to finish 4th in the league. Don't be shocked, though, if this team is right up there competing for a championship in the Southland this season.
Yeah, and Hilliard, one of those back line leaders, has played really well in this one. Played, I believe, the entire match at SMU, and they just continue to. And then we talk about Emily Senator as well. Had a shot that hit the post against SMU, one of those youngsters on this team that is obviously still developing, still young in her career, but looks very promising.
The future bright in Starkville, but also bright for the Demons of Northwestern State in terms of program building and putting themselves in a position to be successful. Good job there by guess who? Macy Hodge to track down that ball and snuff out that would-be attack from the Demons.
Northwestern State really starting to apply more pressure offensively, and haven't had a ton of great looks, but they're forcing the ball into their final third, trying to find something. And soccer can be an odd sport. In a 1-0 game, all it takes is a weird bounce, and it might all be knotted up at 1.
It feels like to me the Demons maintained for as long as they could. And now they're saying, okay, 17 and a half minutes left. Now we're going to bring the offense. We're going to be the aggressor. And we're going to make Mississippi State change its philosophy a little bit, make them react to what we're doing instead of vice versa.
Yeah, and after they allowed that first goal, they really were able to adapt and essentially figure out how to stop this Mississippi State offense. And yeah, they've allowed some close ones, a couple that have hit the post, but nothing else has gone in, and that's why we still have a game.
And now one of the few maintained possessions for the Demons, and as soon as I say that, they give it away there in the open field. But for a solid minute or 2 minutes, they maintained possession down here to our right, their attacking end. Now, I'm not sure we have seen that yet today.
No, and you've still got a little over 16 minutes to go. Definitely something to build on. It's not a ton of time, but doesn't take a ton of time always in order to put one in the back of the net. So if they can just hold possession a little bit and see what they can come up with, because it feels like they are beating Mississippi State to these 50-50 balls at the moment.
And now some momentum, despite being down on the scoreboard, some momentum, I think, has shifted over to the Demons. You got the players on the bench now standing up and being very vocal. Free kick coming up here for Northwestern State. Looks like 3 more subs about to come on for Mississippi State at the next opportunity. Under 16 to go in the match. 18th ranked Mississippi State trying to hold on. Northwestern State trying to get the equalizer and get a positive result on the road against one of the best teams in the SEC this season. Big collision right there. That ball won nicely by McCaslin, who sends it just inside the 18. Husband ran out of real estate there, but this will be a goal kick now coming up for Northwestern State. So the Bulldogs now with their own set of depth pieces, trying to make something happen. And not a bad idea right there, just could not get the finish. That's been the story so far for much of the match today.
Wadsworth for 18.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to put
And 5 Perry for 9 McCaslin.
they're going to put some starters back on the field with Johnson, Perry, and Wadsworth, and it might be to get that second goal and put this one out of reach as we're under 15.
Send in that starting line again, to borrow a hockey term. That ball is going to be lost over the line, and possession will go back over to Mississippi State. Under 15 to go. Harry, Wadsworth, and Martinez Montoya all came back into the match just a moment ago. All of them starters in this match. But the Bulldogs also have Lopeser out there, and Husband's out there, so it's not exactly your starting 11 out there for State, but clearly trying to get a few more veterans on the pitch for the closing stretch here in a 1-0 ball game. The Demons send that one all the way back to Anderson.
Yeah, and getting late in this second half and throughout the second half, the passes just aren't crisp enough for Mississippi State. There was a solid pass, but just feels like they haven't been connecting like they would like to.
Johnson to Perry, now to Martinez Montoya. Working one-on-one on her defender. Gets it inside, crossing pass, and the shot from Johnson is going to be wide to the right.
Plenty of opportunities for Mississippi State to put this one further out of reach, but just struggling to find the back of the net. Credit to the pressure that this back line for the Demons has put on them, though. For a moment, looked like they were a little fatigued and Mississippi State was going to find another one, but regrouped a little bit.
That was the 5th shot attempt for Hannah Johnson to lead the team today. That boot, which goes high over the bar off the foot of Izquierdo. That's the 3rd shot attempt from Izzy today. But Johnson and Perry have been, in terms of shot attempts, the most active Bulldog players today. No surprise from Perry, as she had attempted, 7 shots in that 1-0 victory over Baylor back on Thursday.
I think it was 7, but it felt like a lot more. I mean, it felt like every time she got the ball, put a shot up and almost had a couple of them go.
Speaking of almost getting a chance, Martinez Montoya had the ball inside the 18, and
I think they're arguing that it might have gone off the hand of one of the Demon defenders, and I didn't get a great angle of it, but I kind of thought that it was an odd bounce. Take a look at it.
Oh, we're going to go to review.
And yeah, off this, just take a look at it. It looked like it did hit off the hand.
It took a funny bounce, an odd deflection.
Here it is again, and yeah, that right arm, it looks like, or is it the left arm? Yeah, that left arm of Graf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we, according to our referees, have gone to an official review. Our first, for us, Cody, our first official review of the season. This is brand new this year. The ability for the referees to call for the review. It's not some type of central hub in Birmingham or Charlotte saying go to the review, but the officials themselves, not a coach's challenge, but the officials have the ability, if something's in question, to go to the review. And here is the review, the video review system. So everything will be reviewed to determine if a goal has been scored, to identify players, to determine if a fight occurred and identify the players, to review or correct timing errors, review if a foul occurred inside or outside the penalty area, to determine if a penalty kick should have been awarded, to determine if a red card should have been awarded, and to determine the correct decision in denial of obvious goal-scoring opportunity situations. So that's the criteria. And I'm interested to, I think this review might fall into that last category.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I feel like it could have been that one or determining the foul, which would have been as well. I mean, to me, it looks like it looks like we're gonna have a penalty kick. I could be wrong, but we'll get the call.
After review, yeah. It will be a PK for Mississippi State. Handball is the call inside the penalty area. So VAR comes back in favor of Mississippi State. That might be the trivia answer to a question years from now. So it'll be a PK for Mississippi State. This could be the nail in the coffin. Aitana Martinez Montoya will take it. And there you see in net, Libe Banuelos. Martinez Montoya will size it up. And she sends it in. Martinez Montoya, her first goal of the season. And there's the elusive multi-goal advantage for Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are on top 2-0 with under 12 to play.
Yeah, and it was the right call when you went back and look at it in real time. It happened so quick, but a great PK, put it to the right side. Banuelos guessed correctly, went to that far side, just couldn't get there in time, and really Martinez Montoya could have put it a little further to the post, make it a little more difficult, but still sneaks it past the goalkeeper and gives a 2-0 advantage for the Bulldogs, and it just makes it a little more difficult for Northwestern State when it felt like everything was starting to come together. The defense looked good. They were putting some passes together to get it into that offensive end, and it's a tough way to go down 2-0.
One of those veterans on this MSU team, Aitana Martinez Montoya, gives the Bulldogs their second goal of the match, their third of the season. And now with the way things have gone, still 11-17 to go, but this match feels a lot differently now than it did just 90 seconds ago.
Yeah, and well, we've talked about how the back line for Northwestern State has been so good today, and they still have, despite giving up that second goal. I don't really think that's something you can pin on the back line. But regardless, have played really well. But Mississippi State's back line has played just as good. And getting 1 goal was going to be tough enough. Now 2, just especially with the time left in the game, feels almost impossible.
Northwestern State definitely has its work cut out for it now. The Bulldogs kept knocking at that door over and over again, and finally all that pressure, and they got the bounce to go their way, got the PK, and Martinez Montoya found the back of the net. So 2-0, Bulldogs on top with just over 10 minutes to play. Mississippi State trying to go to 2-0 on the season. Northwestern State trying to avoid an 0-2 start. But let's talk about this Northwestern State schedule for a moment, as you see a lot of Bulldog players now coming off the bench, and essentially all the starters, most of the starters now coming out of the match. But Northwestern State, they played at SMU on Thursday. They're in Starkville today. They're at Fayetteville to play Arkansas next weekend. Then they're at the Raging Cajuns. They're down in Lafayette on August 29th. So back to back to back to back, as Buanuelos with a fantastic save, keeping her team down by just a couple of goals. Mississippi State just about had their 3rd goal of the match on this play right here.
Yeah, and this is really great play. Left foot, puts it right on target. Could have put it a little further to the post, make it a little more difficult. Still a solid shot on goal, though, and State continues to keep the pressure up.
Corner kick now for the Bulldogs. This will be their 10th of the match. Buxton will put it in play. What, a couple of players are there, and the deflection goes into the net, and Mississippi State has taken a 3-0 lead, celebrating as if she has scored the 3rd goal of the match for the Bulldogs. Is number 34, Schulfenberger, who just came into the match about 2 minutes ago. And let's see exactly how this all transpired.
I think she did get it. It looked like her right foot, she got her right foot on it and puts it right in between the post and the keeper. And hey, for coming on moments ago and putting it in, that's a great goal.
Nyla Schoefberger comes into the match and immediately gets her 1st goal of the season. How about that?
Goal was scored by number 34, Nyla Schoefberger, with an assist by number 10, Olivia Buxton.
Schoefberger, a junior from Tampa, Florida, a 5'8" defender. Right place, right time. Timed it, and the ball goes right off the leg into the back of the net. So Mississippi State has now opened up the floodgates. They are on top 3-0 over the Demons with just 9 minutes to go. How about this little run up? Wagner, she puts it in play, and Mississippi State scores again. Wagner sent it through, and nothing but white jerseys were there, and the Bulldogs have now opened up a rout on the Demons. 4-0 is our score.
Yeah, and just unfortunate for the Demons. It looks like it got hit Kylie Morris, who just couldn't deflect it the opposite way, and played a really solid game. Just towards the end, everything's starting to fall apart. They played almost 90 now in the heat. Just fatigue starts to factor in, and the depth for Mississippi State just proving to be a little too much.
Morris is a senior from Holly Springs, North Carolina. That's what happens sometimes when you apply so much pressure, and we've seen the Bulldogs apply that pressure, Cody, since the opening touch almost 90 minutes ago. And at some point, just the law of averages, right? At some point, you're going to have some weird bounces like that go into the back of the net, and that one bounced away for the Bulldogs and against the Demons. So what once was a tight 1-0 affair with some momentum perhaps on the side of the Demons, it's now officially a Mississippi State rout, 4-0 with under 8 to go. A goal from Buxton, a PK from Martinez Montoya, a goal from Schoefberger, and then an own goal. 3 goals scored here in the second half after the Buxton goal early in the match. And there you see Wagner again with a good crossing ball. And Banuelos has to come out and dive for it to prevent another odd deflection. Well, this has to be a big confidence boost for MSU and James Armstrong and his team.
Yeah, you weren't able to pour it on early, but towards the end of the game, make it a little more comfortable. I'm sure he would have liked these to come a little earlier to feel a little more comfortable for a longer period of time in this game, but the goals have finally come, and they've looked good all game long. I mean, have possessed the ball, have created opportunities, just struggled to find the back of the net, have finally figured out how to do that, and they're kind of putting it all together a little later on. It's something that you'd like to see earlier on, but sometimes it's just how it goes.
The final score will definitely be one that will indicate a dominating performance, which, I mean, I think it was. I think State did dominate. That's Mississippi State did dominate this match, but just could not finish until the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, and Northwestern State did give themselves a chance in this one up until the last 15, and I really think that foul called in the box was the difference.
Yep.
Once they scored the PK, it just feels like morale kind of went down, and it's tough when you're that close, you're trailing by 1, and you're that close from tying it up, have had a couple of opportunities, and then you go down by 2. It's tough to keep morale up and play at that level that they had been playing at.
Wagner again gets it inside, crosses it, couldn't find her teammate. Looked as if she was trying to hit Bergen. And Bergen just couldn't quite catch up to it. And now Buxton and Porter get tied up, and the foul goes against Buxton. 5 minutes to go, 4-0 Mississippi State on their way to their second straight victory to open up this 2024 soccer season. But we've seen a little bit of everything. We've seen early goals, PKs, our first review. We've seen own goals. We've seen almost every single player on the roster on both teams get to play today. We mentioned Northwestern State gets ready after today and they get about a week off before they play at Arkansas.
Just a tough non-conference schedule for Northwestern State. I mean, Arkansas is no joke either. They made it to the NCAA tournament last year, lost to Pitt in the second round, 4-3. They lost in the SEC championship to Georgia, 1-0. And I mean, they went 15-5-2. It's no joke. Northwestern State, it doesn't joke around when it comes to their non-conference schedule, and really makes it difficult on themselves so they can improve to be better down the stretch.
We heard their coaches tell us the goal is to get to conference play, and the conference games seem slow compared to the tempo and athleticism of the non-conference matchups.
Yeah, and I think Northwestern State looked a little slow in that first 30-35 minutes, and then once they got into the flow of the game, really made it more competitive. Slowly but surely, you started seeing them make some passes, connect better, get it into their attacking third where they created one or two opportunities, but it took them a minute to get to the pace of Mississippi State. Once they did, though, I mean, it was a real opportunity that they could have found the back of the net before going down 2-0.
Collision along the far side there as Porter got wrapped up with a couple of Bulldogs, including Braswell. So a lot of non-starters on the field right now for Mississippi State. They're trying to get it inside there, but running out of room for Northwestern State was Gundon. Schoeffberger took it away for the Bulldogs. Oh, a hard tackle right there. Clean, but real physical takedown. Mississippi State's Lauren Taylor, a freshman from Greensville, North Carolina. Just a good slide tackle right there.
It was clean. It's a dangerous play if it doesn't go your way, but I mean, clean tackle, good effort.
We got just over 90 seconds to play. The Bulldogs have opened up this one in the second half, late really in the second half. As Cody mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the difference on the scoreboard and the difference in momentum and philosophy, all of that came when the handball was called inside the 18 against the Demons. State got the penalty kick. Martinez Montoya sent it in, and this match has not been the same since. Here's the last takedown and foul called against the Demons.
Yeah, you get late into a match and emotions start to get the best of you. It's been a long game, so you just got to be smart when you get into this final minute. There's no reason to pick up a yellow or a red this late in a game. So you just got to play smart, and that's for both of these teams. Just be smart. You still have a whole season going forward.
Mississippi State, speaking of the season going forward, they will take on the 49ers of Charlotte, their first road match of the regular season, coming up on the 22nd. So that'll be a Thursday matchup in Charlotte, North Carolina for James Armstrong and his crew.
Charlotte facing off with TCU earlier today, dropping that one 3-0, but TCU, a good team who beat Alabama at home in the season opener, number 20th team in the nation, 3-0. So Charlotte played another tough team today, as Mississippi State will take them on Thursday.
Your final score in Starkville, 18th ranked Mississippi State with a 3-goal onslaught in half number 2. Goes on to defeat Northwestern State 4-0 for their second consecutive shutout win of the season. Cody, some final thoughts.
Yeah, and Mississippi State came out and really controlled the tempo of this game, controlled possession, created a lot of opportunities for themselves, and Northwestern State held their own for about 75 minutes, looked really solid, did a great job, only trailed by 1 up until that PK, and when they scored the PK, things started to go downhill, but Northwestern State really impressed me throughout this match. That back line is solid. Their goalkeeper Benuelos looked really good in net. So a lot to build on from this performance for the Demons.
For Cody Blazak, I'm Anthony Craven. So long from Starkville. Final score once again, 18th ranked Mississippi State 4, Northwestern State 0. To watch replay of this or any of our other broadcasts on the ESPN family of networks, you can log on to ESPN.com or download the ESPN app. So long from Stark Vegas.